Welcome, ruralvacantland.com. This is Luke Smith, and we're doing a live show every Monday morning at 9 a.m. And so this is, I don't know what episode this is. I've been doing this for over a year, 2 years or so, and we keep talking about land. And the whole premise of this is buying land, buying it with cash offers. We send out mail. We send letters in the mail, and we make cash offers on people's land that we've never seen before, sometimes on the other side of the country and stuff. And they call back and they say, no way, or yes, please. And the people that want to sell the land, we buy the land. You know, we do a little bit of research first to make sure it's like accessible and usable in lots of different ways. Throw some opinions on there and buy the better looking stuff, and then put it up for sale on ruralvacantland.com. And so we've got this website. We've got more like a dozen people on there selling different properties that they've got off of mailers like this. And so we post them up in one area, and we can go look at a whole bunch of properties. And the main sales pitch behind these properties is the cheapest land in the area. The cheapest land of that size, of that kind, that style. And we're able to get the cheapest land and sell it as the cheapest land because of these mailers that we send out, by sending out cash offers to everybody in a systematic approach to make an offer on their land, and using statistics and things buy the land that comes through. So today, I see a bunch of comments going by. So guys saying morning, hi, hello. And thanks for chiming in. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to ask questions. One guy's saying, I called about that land you said you had near the land I bought, hoping I can find more near me. Yeah, so TK, I gotta get you on the phone and figure out which property it is you bought from me and which ones we have next door, if I have any like around it that are for sale. And then Jarrett saying, Luke, behind you. Yeah, I thought this was a funny picture because I dressed up as the Easter Bunny, and everyone's been picking on me here recently. You know, for the kids, right? So I was at the park in the Easter Bunny suit, like baking my brains out. The thing was so hot, I couldn't breathe. I was swimming inside there. And so all the kids I see in the neighborhood ever since, they're like, are you the Easter Bunny? Are you the Easter Bunny? And they keep asking if I'm the Easter Bunny. So I saw this picture. I'm like, might as well be the Easter Bunny in this show too. So a little side humor. But hey, rabbit for Easter. There you go. Yeah. So in this show today, I wanted to talk about picking a new location to send out mail. And I've sent a lot of mail to California recently, and I like doing business in California for lots of different reasons that I'll leave out of this show. But I like doing business in lots of other states for lots of other reasons too. Things like getting away from the taxes in California is pretty nice, especially after, getting through April here. And so I wanted to pull this map up and show you what I'm thinking. This is a map of ruralvacantland.com. If you go to ruralvacantland.com, you can see a whole bunch of properties on there under the map search. And people ask me what I do and what I'm into or what I like or what's my passion or what keeps me busy or whatever the question is, right? I say, pull up this map. This is what I work on all the time. I'm always working on this map. Not specifically this map, but everything that's behind this map. This map is a bunch of properties. The red ones are ones that are sold. And as we zoom in on different areas, we can see, like, let's see, these Wisconsin ones and Minnesota and stuff. These green ones are still for sale. So like the red ones are sold. Let's see, these are all sold. But there's some green ones over here that are still for sale. So there's like some northern Wisconsin properties. I was just looking at these the other day. One looks like it's sold, one might not be. But if you zoom in and look at them in different areas, you'll see a bunch of them that are for sale and that are sold. People are always asking me, why do you keep the ones that are sold on there? Why don't you get rid of them, make it cleaner and easier to look at and everything? I say, yeah, but then the people that bought the land from me start asking for directions to the property and old pictures and the GPS coordinates and everything. It's just a lot easier if everyone can find the stuff on the website. And when I'm doing mailers, this is where I keep score. This is like, it helps me a lot to figure out where to send more mail. Because look at all this stuff. I mean, we sold a bunch of properties in Cochise County. I mean, this is like outlining the county down here, right? Or Apache and Navajo County. There's tons of deals. Like if you wanted to go get into the land business and you want to be assured to get deals, I mean, those areas are, you could mail there, and I really doubt you're going to get turned down in a big way. You're going to get mail. You're going to get land. I mean, people will sell you land. And you could turn around and sell it, buy and sell and buy and sell. But I'd like a little bit more spread. I think there's a lot of volume there, but I'd like something that's a little more unique, a little more, just unique is a good way to say it. So I've been buying a lot of these properties on the backside of California. I've been having fun with those. And, but I've always had this dream of getting these Idaho properties. And if you look at Idaho, there's like nothing on the map in Idaho. And people keep asking me for Idaho properties. I don't have Idaho properties because the data, it's really hard to mail there. That's one of the few states that's got rules that allows the people that own the land to obfuscate or hide, or not share their contact information. So I can get stuff like, how much they pay tax and stuff, but I can't get their mailing address to mail them a cash offer on the property. I can get some of them, but not all of them. And so the ones that I've mailed are it's not a statistical representation of the population. So it's a lot harder to pull off. I've sent mail there. I've got some deals, but it wasn't fun. And so Montana and Wyoming's really fun. If you can get deals there. I've seen some other people pulling off deals there. I'd like to try to figure that out some more too. Like I spent some time in the Bighorn Mountains where are the Bighorn Mountains? Right here. This green thing. And, like the backside of these mountains it's just so beautiful. There's so few people and so much nature, so much wildlife. And not very far away, you can get into Yellowstone and all the beautiful stuff that Yellowstone and Grand Teton have to offer. But over here, it's just without the buses of people jumping out with their camera and blocking the road to go take a picture of whatever nature that you should just enjoy instead of just look at it without the camera, I like that side. So maybe I've looked at it, studied a bunch in the past. I'd like to mail that to you, but it's just always been more money than I've been able to swing, and I think now I have better shots at it. So I'd like to go mail around that park, just because I have a passion for that park, and I think I can explain it and present it well. But then getting over into Montana, there's a bunch of properties in Montana. There's a bunch of parks. There's a bunch of nature. There's hunting, fishing galore, lots of winter activities and summer activities. I mean, just I'd like to hit Montana better, and we don't have it on the website. Like it's just not represented on the website. So it's like there's a big hole in here where there's a bunch of awesome parks, and we don't have properties up for sale or ones that we've had. And so I want to change that. And so I want to send out mail. I want to buy some properties in these areas and fill out this map. So this is my rambling logic way of finding new places to send mail. Other people have all kinds of other approaches, but that's what I'd like to do. So I pulled up a couple minutes before this call. I pulled up Montana. I pulled up a list of counties in Montana on Wikipedia. And I like Wikipedia because it gives me population. And so what I did is I sorted this list by population. It's probably too small for you to see on the screen, but just get the idea. This column up here over my head. Maybe I can do this kind of thing because it's so small you can't see it. But see what over here. So there's population. I just sorted it by population. So at the top we get 155,000 people in Yellowstone County, 112,000 people in Missoula County, 97,000 in Gallatin County, 94,000 in Flathead County, 82,000 in Cascade County. 65,000 in Lewis and Clark County. So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counties basically got all the people. And then down from there, it's just like nobody, just cattle ranchers and stuff. Like you're driving a day to get groceries. I think that's more specialized property. It's a great property to have a cabin. I mean, that's totally for me. But the more land deals I've done, the more I'm learning that the closer to population, the easier it is to sell those properties. It's easier for people to get there to see them. It's easier for people to get to work. It's easier for people to get to supplies and maybe even utilities. I don't think we'll get utilities on a lot of these properties, but yeah, or where they plan to retire. So we're gone prospecting says. And their kids could actually maybe find an airport to fly into to visit them. And there might be a hospital there just in case to get to, right? Just some basic things that a lot of people don't think about. Here's a good question going by Blake Jones. I've noticed you price by APN scheme when you're picking by area. Why not just draw an area with your mouse? Seems easier. Am I missing something like an advantage with using APN scheme approach? Great question, Blake. So if I draw with a mouse, the data sets that I'm pulling are from county. They're a county-based data set. And the statistics, in my point of view, change when you start crossing county lines because you're not ranking the properties anymore. So what I like to do is I'm doing a little bit bigger picture. I'm working my way down towards what you're asking, but you're asking it, so let's just get there. Is that I don't want the most expensive, crazy land. The kind of property you should build like a hospital on or a power plant or something super commercial or some, where the taxes are going to be like more a month than I can afford to pay for a property. So, and then at the other end of the spectrum of properties, whether it's by county, state, or drawing a circle on the map or whatever, there's a bunch of them that I don't even want to make an offer on. They'd be like the triangle between the exit ramp on the freeway and the freeway, or the median between the highway, or an easement to somebody's property that they didn't pay the taxes on it. And they're like, who the heck is going to... it went over someone else's name and bought it at auction and wasn't looking at what they're buying or something. And they're just thrilled to get my cash offer to dump it on this fool from California. So I want to rank the properties is my point. I want to rank them. And the best way to rank them to get rid of the dumpy cruddies and the super all-star dollar properties is by county, in my opinion, because there's a county assessor. And so the county assessor it's a series of assessors over time that have been playing with the assessments of these properties. And hopefully that series of elected officials took their job seriously, or someone in there did, and they rank these properties accordingly. And so that easement that goes to nowhere and that triangle inside the exit from the off-ramp of the freeway and the freeway and the median that I was just talking about, they might get an assessment value of like $1 or $100 or $1,000, or maybe it's some other county and they price it at $10,000. But the county next door to the one that prices those weird properties at $10,000 might price them at $5, or they might price them at $50,000. The assessments don't make sense comparing them in one county to the next. But when you look at them in that specific county, I think they make a lot more sense. They're a ranking. And so they don't line up with the value of the property and the market value, what you should buy it for, what you should sell it for, in my opinion, and my experience looking at lots of them. But they can line up to the ranking of that property compared to other properties in that county. And so I think that's really important. That's why I go county by county instead of drawing a circle on the map. I could draw a circle on the map inside that county and do the same kind of thing, but I think the population of property starts getting so small that it's not as effective. And so I like to look at the Pareto principle we've talked about on this channel numerous times in the past, because I'm a finance background. And when I was doing penny stocks, you could see it in people's accounts. The disposition of profits and losses is like Pareto principle. The distribution of capital across different accounts is Pareto principle. Pareto principle is this old Italian guy. For those of you who don't know or aren't following, I'll try to bring you up to speed. It's an old Italian guy that he was a professor in university, and he grew peas in his garden, and he kept all kinds of statistics, right? And so he kept statistics on the peas, how many peas grew in how many pods, and he figured out 80% of the peas grew in 20% of the pea pods in his garden. And he took that theory and he started applying it to all kinds of things, like who owns land in Italy, and whenever this theory came around, 1600s, or I don't know how long ago it was. But 80% of the land was owned by 20% of the people, and 80% of the businesses were owned by 20% of the people. 80% of the buying was done by 20% of the people. Like all kinds of walks of life. He started doing this, and he started doing it in different arenas. And he wrote a book about it, and maybe a couple books about it. And it became known as the Pareto principle after the author of the books, the professor that was studying the peas in his garden. And so in economics, it's classic economics information to apply that to all kinds of things in economics. And so we're looking at land, and I'm turning land into economics instead of stocks. It's just a different asset class. I mean, it could be a pipeline or a port or a oil wells or whatever. And if you start applying yourself to the population of that asset class, 80% of the money is going to come from 20% of the assets in that arena, especially mining. I used to be in mining, oil and gas operations, and the best mining operations were ridiculously better than the average mining operations. Just bar none, can't compare at all. And trying to find more of those and figure out finance, get involved in more of those was where the money was at. And so in land, I think that same idea can be applied to land. And so that's what we're trying to do here by this chart behind me. I sorted it by population, and I don't know how many counties there are in Montana. 56 counties. There's 56 counties, and the main population is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's that? 6 out of 56. It's in 10%, so it's even more skewed off than the Pareto principle, So it's probably 90% of the people are in 10% of the counties, right? And my old boss, Rick Rule, that I used to work for, he would say in a penny stock game, it's you can run that distribution again. You could take that top 20%, run that distribution again, and the top 20% of the top 20% is just statistically crazy, even more better performance, better producing, better whatever, or worse if you looked at it on the tail end. The thieves, the robbers, the mistakes, the ones you don't want to be involved in. And so he would use that idea and whack it even harder, double it, triple it, do it again, you run it again and again and again to get to like the best of the best of the best. And that was the penny stocks he was trying to get into. And he made a lot of money doing that. So we're trying to do that with land. And I see it in the deals. Some of the deals make a heck of a lot more money than other ones. And I want to find more of those. And so I think they're next to populations. Now, Montana doesn't have a whole lot of population, but they've got some unique land. And we don't have any on the map. And I've got somebody I do mailers with that really likes Montana stuff. And so I think we'll do that. So I'm just studying it, and that's the topic for today's call. Let me look at the chats here for a sec. Let me pop this out. So John Majlike, what's a good price to offer in Cochise County for mailers? Yeah, go look at whatever it is you want to buy on ruralvacantland.com and go offer half of that. That's probably where you get them at. Kevin Swinson, 80 to 20. Yeah, good old Prado. Exactly. Love the info. Thanks, Luke. Okay. So catching up on the comments, please feel free to drop comments, questions in there anytime. And so now I've got my however many. I counted this a couple times. I still forgot how many. It's a half dozen, right? I pulled up like a population map where the heck these counties are. So here's Missoula County, Gallatin County, Yellowstone County, Lewis and Clark, Cascade, Flathead. Were those the ones? Yellowstone, Missoula, Gallatin, Flathead, Cascade, Lewis and Clark. Yeah, so here's a map. Like these darker ones are the ones that have the more of the people. And theoretically, if there's more people there, they were drawn in for something. And it's probably easier to sell land there because whatever these people were drawn in for in the past, probably the beauty, extreme beauty in the area and more infrastructure. So next, I'd like to go over to RealQuest. I'm going to use RealQuest. Some people use other softwares and stuff. I'm most familiar, comfortable, and have access to RealQuest. So I'm using RealQuest Professional. RealQuest Professional is provided to me by the Land Academy people. So I learned the basics of how to do this from Land Academy. And my chair's driving me crazy, guys. God, I don't have like the right stuff to spray it with, but I got something here. See if it stops making noise. Time to get a new chair. It's still making noises. Okay, so CoreLogic is the one that owns this software, RealQuest Pro. And so I was saying I get this subscription from them. I think if you go to RealQuest Pro and try to get it, it's like, I don't know, $150 or $180 or whatever. If you get it through Land Academy, they charge you like $200 or something, but they give you a whole bunch of different things. And so I think the economics would be better if you went through Land Academy, but you can figure out your own route, and they give you a bunch of educational stuff too. So they've been updating this website a bunch the last couple weeks. So I might get lost because it's been changing some, but so let's go to Montana. Let's start with the great. Montana is a non-solicitation state. Since when? Maybe that's why we don't have any land in Montana. I've mailed offers there before. They change? Well, so okay, so what's the one that's got the most? Yellowstone County, Billings. So let's start with Yellowstone County. Let's see if we can get anywhere. Non-solicitation state. I wonder what that means. If anyone listening, watching has something to say about non-solicitation state, Montana's a non-solicitation state. Let's just Google this. See what should I search? Like mailing solicitations in Montana. There you go. Montana man sentenced to 36 months in prison for designing fraudulent mail solicitations for use in transactional elder abuse scheme. Chuck Licka is saying, I believe they simply won't sell the leads since there is some privacy regulation in that state like Idaho. Okay, let's test it. Let's try to buy some records and see if they give us the information. Because I've bought records in Idaho, and they just have some of them, and some of them have them, and some of them don't. So let's just test it and see what happens. So Montana, Yellowstone. Let's. I'm gonna do improved percent. I'm gonna do from 0 to 1. And what that is the assessed approved percent. So it's behind my head here. You can't really read this stuff in the video anyway. You're just going to have to figure out which. There we go. So there's just a box here, and I'll move my head out of the way in case you really blow up your video like mega full screen and you can see this stuff. Maybe I can blow it up some for you. So improved percent, it's the assessor looks at a property and says, okay, how much of this is the land and how much of it is whatever you built on the land. And so some percent of the assessed value, let's say it's $100,000 for the land and then $50,000 for the mobile home you put on there. It'd be $150,000 assessed value, but if you do the improved percent, that'd be 66% land and 33% mobile home. So in this case, 0 to 1 is I'm trying to get I'm just going to do up to 1 because they changed this in the past. They used to do 0 to 1, but they've changed it recently. And so now they have a lot of them that don't have anything in that column. And then they have some that are zeros. So nothing or up to 1 I'm going to put in there. And so the ones that are not improved, vacant land. I'm trying to get vacant land. So there's my vacant land, and let's save this search. I'm going to start building my search. Let's just do Yellowstone, Montana. I'm going to save this and let's submit the request. Let's see how many vacant properties we get in this county. So it's ticking away 5,000, 6,000, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. You can see it right up there. Well, now it's loading. I got to make this smaller. I can't. Basically 16,000 records. 15998. Crow tribe of Indians. So yeah, we got to get the Indians out of there and the people that don't pay taxes. So let's go back. Let's put a tax value in there. It just says MT is a non-solicitation state. So I'm going to add the 1% improved. Let's do tax, which should be figure out what the tax is. Property tax. Knew it wasn't that easy. Okay, so let's do from $100, and that should get rid of the people that don't really pay taxes, like the Native American tribes and the churches, and not the churches, but like the parks and the U.S. Forest Service and the Department of Agriculture. All those people that don't pay tax that aren't going to sell to us. Okay, let's add that to the criteria list, because if they're not paying tax, they don't have the motivation to sell the property, right? That's the beauty of the U.S. They charge tax on land, and that keeps the land churning. It keeps it from just getting all piled up into one place. Yeah, Yellowstone, Yellowstone, Montana 2. Okay. Let's submit request. Let's see if that cleans up the list a little bit. And so I keep doing this. It's an iteration. I just build my search little by little, and we'll do all this work, and we'll narrow it down. Then I'll just pull a sample. I'll take a taste of a dozen records or something, and see if we actually get any information out of it. This thing's processing, and then if I pull a dozen records and there's like no mailing address for those, then that's what they mean by it's a non-solicitation state. They're not even going to give me the mailing addresses of the people. But I'm not trying to sell something. I mean, just mailing a cash offer. That's the point of having the information be public, right? Wow, this search is just grinding away. Okay. Ada Vishnu says, Better Call Saul. Had an episode about that. Yeah, I should call some Saul kinds of guys about the legality of mailing offers in Montana for non-solicitation state. Aaron Rory, what's the answer? I need some land. Yeah. Is it from, he had a previous question? I think it's because we're spinning wheels here looking for the list. Land Sisters, try the different versions of RealQuest. For some reason, it seemed that I had to pull from both versions to get the info I needed. I just mailed Montana today. Nice. Hopefully I don't, bust your chops in the same tracks. I'm sure you approached it from a different perspective than I am, though. Andrew W. Favorite Rick Rule isms. Bear markets are the authors of bull markets. Exactly. Best solution to low prices is low prices. Best solution to high prices is high prices. Rick Rule's classics, right? If past is prologue, being early is the same as being wrong, unless. Rick Rule is full of great sayings, and they come from just having so much experience and streets of hard knocks and penny stocks. I mean, penny stocks, are crying out loud, is one heck of a business to cut your teeth in. And so if you guys don't know who Rick Rule is, or you've never followed his stuff, I mean, he's a great mentor to me. He's he was my first real boss, and he was great in so many different ways. He's a great public speaker, and we'd go to all kinds of conferences, and he'd give all kinds of speeches, and I'd be in the back of the room answering questions for people, but Rick was always front and center, giving the best speeches and saying quotes like Andrew was just quoting. Spirit Wolf says, any way to help someone that's homeless? I mean, I just gave my bike away to a homeless guy. If that counts. He's trying to get to work. I don't have a bike. I used to ride my bike to the notary shop. Now I'm walking. But the guy's getting to work, right? Sorry, I'm spraying this chair. See if I can get rid of this funny noise. So we got a list here. 10,082 records. 10,082 records. So we just dropped off 6,000 records by putting that lower tax cut in there. And so that got rid of a lot of junky land. A lot of land that's people don't pay taxes. And so now if we look at this, all those Indian names went away. Native American, I should say. That was ranch and different companies. Land, someone that probably owns half of everything. These are people you can do business with names, right? Okay, so now what I would like to do is look at that. So we went from 15,000, so $100 cut off the bottom. So basically 6,000 over 16,000. That got rid of 37%. That got rid of more than the bottom 20%. But I think I'm going to leave it like that. I'd usually try to take out the bottom 20% and get rid of them. But in this case, it was just a lot of government, a lot of like non-tax paying people. So I think we put $100 in there, probably gets rid of. It's assessed value, $100 assessed value. No, it's taxes. Taxes. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong one. But you could do it by taxes or assessed value. Essentially, they come out to the same kind of lineup. So now, if we put a high tax number in there, like properties that pay taxes over something, and we try to get rid of them, what should we get down to? So if we tried to get rid of the top 20% of them, I'm going to do, because we got 10,000 left. So if we try to get down to like 8,000, I'm going to do it a little different. Usually I try to keep the middle 60%, but let's just try to get rid of another 2,000 records by changing the top tax cut. And that'll get rid of the really expensive properties, the stuff that, they're not going to really sell to me for prices that I am capable or able or comfortable paying. Where do we, here, let's retrieve search. They move stuff around on here, so. Here's the pop-up. Let's see what this says. Montana law prohibits the use of certain public records for marketing or solicitation activities. See Montana Code, blah, 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 blah. To protect the privacy of those who deal with state and local government, B. A list of persons prepared by a public agency may not be used as a distribution list without first securing the permission of those on the list, except by that agency. Let me think about that. So, a list of persons prepared by a public agency may not be used as a distribution list without first securing the permission of those on the list, except by that agency. So are they saying this information is put together by the assessor, and that's a public agency? By accessing any records, reports, property information, or any other information products and services from CoreLogic for the state of Montana, Montana information, you hereby certify to CoreLogic that you do not intend to and will not use such Montana information as a distribution list. Wow, that sounds like we shouldn't be mailing in Montana. I'm going to research that more, maybe off the screen later. But for now, let's keep moving forward. So I wanted to mess with the taxes. So the taxes, let's put $2,000 down. Let's see if that takes us down to 8,000 records. And so update criteria, spinning its wheels. Okay, let's see how many records that gives us. $2,000, and then we'll go up or down from there to hone in on 8,000 records. Let's see what the tax cut is. I don't really want properties where I got to pay more than $2,000. $9,187. So we should lower that. That's good, because I don't want to pay $2,000 in taxes anyway. Get stuck with one of these properties that doesn't sell. Here's $2,000 a year. I'm gonna have to market that thing fast. Let's try $1,000. Yeah, so Adavishnu says, give him the piece in Izard County. There we go. So the question is, any way to help someone that's homeless? This is a tough question. I mean, this is like how to stop world hunger or something. if the person that's homeless truly wants to get out of their solution and they're logical and they don't have something weird going on upstairs, which for my opinion, I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth 100 different ways, I'm sure, in this conversation. Um, but my opinion, I'm in Southern California by the beach and there's a lot of homeless people around, right? And so I've bought them food, I've bought them supplies, I've given them stuff, I've talked to them in different ways, and the vast majority of them are off their rocker, in the mental side or the drug side, one or the other, and they don't have control of their, they don't have self control. If they're going crazy on the drugs, they're missing the self control to self regulate. So $1,000 got us down to a little over 8,000 records. And so when you talk to somebody like that, or you try to do dealings or business with someone that doesn't have self control like that, giving them land doesn't help. It doesn't. It's almost a detriment. It's like, how do they get there? How do they work on it? How do they make it happen? How do they do anything with it? I mean, they might go there and have a bonfire and drink themselves to sleep or something, and then what? Like, what? You got to have the planning, you got to have the supplies, you got to have the tools to go for it and put it together. And the people that have that drive, they figure out how to pay for the land, and even if it's $500 piece of property, I mean, there's a radio station here when I first moved to San Diego in 2000, and I was listening to the show, and the guy on the radio station, he dressed up like a bum, and he beat on himself, and he had really dirty clothes on and just everything wrong. And he went panhandling in downtown San Diego. And he wanted to see what it was like, because he gives money to these people on a regular basis, as do a lot of my neighbors. A lot of my neighbors have care packages they keep in their car to hand out to these people with, like, food bars and water and toilet paper and handy wipes and all kinds of things that they put in there. My sister's done a lot of that too, and they hand that stuff out. But this particular radio show guy went downtown and he's panhandling for money, and so he'd stand at the intersection and ask for money, and he got over $400, and he didn't do it the whole day. Like, it got embarrassing. Like, he quit when he got past $400, and a lot of it's change in dollars, and some of it's fives and 20s that people gave out to him. And that, if he had the no self-control like a lot of these people have, he probably wouldn't have lasted that long. He would have been over to the whatever drug dealer or liquor store that they could get to buy their stuff, and make themselves feel good for a little bit until they got to go do it again. And so you give them some land? It doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. I don't know how to say it. I think we need more mental health kinds of stability, and I don't want to pay for it, so I don't even like to say that. So I don't know what you really do about the homeless. I don't think I'm the one to really answer that question, but so some of the people that have bought land from me have been really trying, and I think that's noble. I think that's awesome, and that's beautiful. Some of the people are building small homes and trying to get the people to come rent from them or work with them in different ways, and I think they get the upper crust of the homeless people, or just about homeless people, are the ones that have more going on upstairs. They have a little bit more self-control, and they got on bad times, or a series of bad times, and but they've still got control over life in some regards, enough to not set the place on fire and urinate in a corner and break holes in the walls when they get mad and stuff. It's just the way it is. It's a really hard topic to approach, and so I'd rather keep talking about land. Spencer Taylor, what can you use those weird pieces of land for? Is a solution in the zoning. So the weird pieces of land we're talking about, I mean, yeah, there's always something, but do I want to make a business out of that? Should I really be buying them and figuring them out when I could buy ones that are already ready to go and just a lot easier? I'd rather do that. Patricia Zach says, "Good morning, land freaks." Exactly. Thanks for coming on, Patricia. Patricia's got numerous properties for sale. I think some of the more recent ones I've seen are in Kern County on ruralvacantland.com. And I think one of them was like 80 acres for 10 grand or something silly cheap. I'm sure I have the numbers wrong, but she's some big acreage for really cheap prices. So go check out ruralvacantland.com if you want to see some of her properties. Gun prospecting. You're not distributing property, you're collecting property. Yeah, there you go. Just that's one way. Distribution list. Get around the rules, Montana rules. Spirit Wolf, I just need a place I can sleep. Okay, so Spirit Wolf, I thought you were asking for somebody else to try to help somebody else who's homeless. So if you're the one that's homeless, you're carrying out a conversation, you're asking for help. I think you're probably in the top 1% of people that are homeless to be able to solve your solution, solve your predicament. And there are a bunch of properties on ruralvacantland.com. Some of them have payment plans for like $25 a month or something. And I've had a lot of people buy properties from me that are homeless, and they don't have an address to put on the deed. Like, how are they going to get the deed and stuff like that? I can email them to you. Sometimes that works. I've got numerous different people that have used my address for the tax address on there. I don't really like doing that, but they use my address, and then it's up to them to change the address later on. And if they don't change the address, I keep getting the bills, and I just keep trying to send them the bills. Lots of times they disappear on me, and I'm not able to send them the bills, and the property's not in my name, so I'm not paying the taxes, So they eventually, a couple of people have bought properties from me, I'm pretty sure, are losing them because they're not paying the taxes on them, and I can't get a hold of the people. Yeah, so you just got to buy one. Let's see what else he was saying. There you go. Spirit Wolf. I do no drugs or mental. I'm homeless due to SSI issue. Disabled. I'm just doing all I can do to survive. Living in a car is hurting. Yeah, so there's a tough scenario. I got a bunch of properties to choose from on the website. And there's a dozen different people who have properties for sale up there. And you do like really easy payments. You can move into the property the same day. Take one of those payment plan ones, like $25 or $59 or something. If you can come up with that first payment and keep making payments over time, you can use that property and go for it. And then you're not, parking in parking lots or side of the street and stuff with the cops hustling you along, move along. So that's one way to do it. And you could start working on something, start working on the property, start building something over time as you can collect supplies. A lot of people will collect supplies off like Craigslist. And sometimes there's some different community resource centers in the area that give away building supplies. And if you follow around construction crews, there's a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of it. It's a husband and wife. They bought some land in northern Idaho. And they got a lot of supplies for their first home from taking apart buildings that people wanted gone. And so they would go help them take them apart, and then they'd get the supplies, and they'd use the supplies to go build their own home. There's a lot of things you can do like that to start salvaging and building, and especially if you take a place like Cochise County, Arizona, and you could do it without building inspections. We don't pick on the supplies that you're using. That could be a good way to do it. Susan Bailey says, "Careful, Luke. Speaking honestly gets you in trouble these days." I know, right? I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth, say everyone's homeless crazy. And it's not the case. It's just I got a lot of them around the area by the beach that are, I don't want to get close, think they're going to bite me or something. And they're speaking out of their conversations with invisible people and, that kind of issues. Not what Spirit Wolf's talking about. Spirit Wolf's on a different page. He's able to hold a conversation, ask for help. And I think that's that's the first part of solving the problem right there. Blake Jones, yes, talk about land. So we're gonna get back to land. Talking about giving land away. I done it says, you're a noble guy, Luke. Even taking a moment to comment. Good pivot. Let's get back to the land. Yeah. Okay. So one guy's asking, would you ever do 500 mailers for $500? I could. I opened the window for some more mailers. A bunch of people have been asking me about mailers. They want to buy mailers, and I'm getting a backlog, guys. Like, I got to do a bunch of mailers here to catch up and grind through the ones that I've already got out there and do the deals on the ones that are accepted. I was looking at the ones that are accepted on this previous mailer. I think we got 73 properties to vet. Like, I got a bunch of research I got to do and boil those down. It's going to take me some time. And then the ones that are good, I'm going to try to finance and pull off and run through the hopper and get them up for sale. But I've promised a bunch of people I'm going to send out mail, and I haven't sent that mail out yet. So I can't keep selling mailers without getting that mail out. So that's partly of what I'm working on. This screen behind me is working on mailers. And so then it comes back to Spencer Taylor. Would you ever do 500 mailers for $500? So at the end of this call, I'll give away 500 mailers, but the number 500, I wish I could afford to give away 1,500. And I keep saying the 1,500 number because it's a number that makes sense to me, and it's also reiterated by the Land Academy crowd as kind of like the minimum number of what you should send out on a mailer. Because if you send out 500 and you just don't have a big enough statistical spread, you may get deals, you may get a bunch of deals, and you may get like spoiled with the deals that come out of the 500, or you may get nothing, and you may get bitter, and you may get frustrated because you didn't get any deals out of the 500. But I think if you get to 1,500, there's a lot more likelihood of you getting at least a deal to pay for it and then some. I think the statistics start working better. And so it's a number that the Land Academy guys have come up with, and I'd like to echo with my experiences in sending out so many mailers over time. I think that's a good number to aim for. So I'm going to decline the 500 mailers for $500 because I just think it makes more sense to have a real honest statistical shot at pulling it off. Pure Living for Life. That's it. That's the YouTube channel. Jarrett Curley is saying Pure Living for Life's YouTube channel is talking about the salvaged a bunch of supplies to build their first house up in northern Idaho. It's a good YouTube channel for homesteading stuff. Ringo Starr, watch Cheap RV Living, shows you how to live in cars, vans, RVs. Yeah, it's getting more and more popular. I see it all over the place. San Diego opened up the laws so you can live in cars and RVs and stuff on the city streets. And some people love that. Some people hate it. Gone Processing, we just took apart somebody's deck and are using it for good fencing for my billy goats. Nice. Killer tip on hitting up construction companies for supplies they no longer need. Yeah, guys, you ever go to the dump? I mean, I'm not saying go to the dump and get supplies there, but every time I take stuff to the dump, I'm just amazed at how much construction materials are going into the dump. It's crazy. Like, good looking windows and doors and panels and woods and lots of materials. So if you're hurting for materials to build stuff with, it's just because you're not creative enough. Like, if you go around these construction guys are paying to get rid of these materials at the dump. They are paying to dump it. And if you could help them get that out of there, if you could help them move it off, if you could help them not have to pay, you're going to have to be Johnny on the spot, because when they got to get rid of it, they got to get rid of it. So you can't be like, oh, hold it for me or anything like that. But if you could just get there and get it from them, help them demo whatever it is without even charging, just, hey, I'm going to get your stuff, right? You might have a couple jobs with crap supplies and then some with some really good supplies. Like, I think you hook up the right construction people, you'll get a lot of supplies for nothing. Lance Jones, is there a way to be able to talk to Spirit Wolf 1274? Maybe Spirit Wolf will put some contact information in the chat for you, like an email, or maybe he's got a phone number or something if he's willing to share, and you can help him out. You can help him with something. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so Blake Jones, does a 1,500 mailers rule work if you send 500 to 3 different counties? Yeah, yeah. It's a rule of thumb. It's not a hard rule. I mean, sometimes I do 100 unit mailers and get deals, and it's all cool. But I mean, I just think the idea of getting a little bit of mass on the start helps. The prior home said, "Do you think you may sell some land properties of Virginia anytime in the near future?" I doubt it. I don't know much of anything about Virginia. I mean, we could try it. Maybe they don't have a solicitation law like Montana does. And thank you. This is great help, and I'll look into it all. I scrap when I get it. Just need land. Yeah. So Spirit Wolf's trying to get some land he can go scrap on. Okay, so let's get back to this mailer, and it's almost 10 o'clock. I gotta get out of here pretty quick. I got a meeting to go to. So we got so the idea here is, let's see if we got any contact information. So normally I would keep drilling down. Just a bunch of the same names. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just picking some random ones. Okay, so let's buy these and let's see if we got contact information. It's loading. So I didn't do anything about size of properties and different kinds of attributes of the properties, because this is just a test and I'm running out of time. And I don't want to print the labels. Just keep hitting buttons. Lance Jones says, "Okay, thank you, Luke. Anything I can do to help?" Yeah, so we'll see if Spirit Wolf is willing to share his contact information. He's saying he's in Iowa. I mean, the other way you could do it, Lance, is if you put your contact information in the chat and ask Spirit Wolf to reach out to you. If he doesn't want to share his contact information, maybe you're willing to share yours. It's raining out, guys. Southern California, and it's raining out. I was woken up by the rain this morning. It's still raining. Look at that. No contact information. They blanked out all the mailing address. You got the owner name, owner information. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Let me move this over. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I just downloaded, what is that, 11 records? I said, well, I guess it's 10 records because one's a title. So we get APNs, and this is just an Excel kind of spreadsheet thing. We got the owner name. No mailing address. Well, what's this? That's the situs address. That's the location, the address of the property. No mailing address. Well, heck with that. how'd the other guy on here say that he got to mail in Montana? He had to go back and forth between different versions of CoreLogic to get the data. Well, this is part of sending mail. You try something and you run into a roadblock. Then you try something else, you run into a roadblock, and then it's like, okay, boom, this works. Look at this road type landlocked. They actually put in the data set that these properties are landlocked. Property tax is 120, 104, 270. Let's see what sizes these are. Assessed values 8,000, 12,000, 10,000, 14, 15. Usable lot area. It's a big number. This could be like square footage, not acreage. That's weird too. So, because I would have been searching by acreage. Lot acreage. Let's see if that's in here. That's the other good thing about testing the data is you see what columns are filled out and which aren't. So when you're searching by stuff, you can know what you're able to search by and what you're not able to search by. So I didn't see the lot sizes. It's really weird. So the first couple properties they got in there, they don't have any size. All agricultural, rural. Oh, here's lot acreage. Okay. There's some big acreage, 500, 100, 200, 200, 240, 60. These are major landowners. So maybe if I narrow it down to residential, I'd start finding stuff. But I'm running out of time, so it's not working. So there's a shot. There's a little bit of information how I work on these mailers, and I was hoping I'd get further today, but than I did. But it's just not happening. So let's give some mailers away. So first off, if you wanted to buy some more mailers, I opened the window up for just like one or two. I don't remember if it's one or two more people could buy mailers. Because I had a bunch of people, they keep asking, why can't I buy mailers? Because I don't have it wide open because I don't have enough time to do that. And I don't want to raise the price on them because I don't think that's nice either. I'm trying to keep it cheap, and but I got to catch up on the mailers that are already spoken for. Yeah, Angela says, I thought it never rains in California. I know, right? It's not the right time of year for rain. And this part of California has got an average of 14 days of rain a year. So it's pretty rare. Land Sisters, try to switch to the old version of RealQuest. We should. I'll try that. I'll try that after the call. Maybe that'll get it. Marge Hayes says, LOL is sprinkling here in Santa Barbara County. Lance Jones says, thanks, Spirit Wolf. I'm trying to find you. I'd done it. Says, Land Sisters, what is your contact info? I'm interested in going in on mailers if Luke gives a go ahead. I mean, yeah, you guys feel free to work together. Margie Hayes says, okay, thanks for all the info. Kevin Swenson, it's mailer time. Yeah, we should all be sending out mailers to get a bunch of land to sell. Land all over the place. The Prior Homestead, I was looking online and didn't see any laws against mail solicitation. I know we get plenty of random different solicitations through the mail from everyone from shuls to those stuffing envelopes. Yeah, I mean, I think that law, because the RealQuest posted, they quoted the law, and it sounded like a distribution list. I mean, it was pretty generic. It didn't sound like it was super specific to what we're trying to do. But I'll research it some more, try to get you guys some answers. I'll buy a mailer, Luke. There's Blake Jones. Thanks, Blake. I done it. Says, we respect your time, Luke. Okay, so let me pull up the so I'm going to give away some mailers, like maybe before you buy them, maybe try to win some or do both. Let me see. So one screen does one thing, another screen does another. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. And it says you've been paying attention. And whoever's been paying attention answers the question right. Let's do the fifth person this time. Fifth, number 5. And it's going to be whoever I count to number 5. Because every time I do this, they say, actually it was this person or that. It was me because of this and because of that. So whoever I choose is the person it's going to be. But generally I'm going to count to number 5. And so the fifth person to answer this, I'm going to give them 500 mailers. I'm going to pay for the mail. I'm going to do the scrubbing. I'm going to find a place to mail. I'm going to take the phone calls. We're going to process the leads. We're going to research the properties. We're going to finance the properties as best we can. I can't promise I can finance everything, but I'll try my heart out to get it financed and bought. And then I'll try my heart out to get it sold. And so it'll cost something to finance it because I'll probably use someone else's money. And then after that cost, and after the cost of pulling off the marketing, like if I'm paying for pictures and listings or something, the profit that comes that I would theoretically get if I did the whole deal, if I paid for the mailer myself and just did the whole thing, I'll split with you half and half on the 500 mailer giveaway. So I'm splitting it, not just totally giving it away. So I got motivation there to actually do it and pull it off, make it happen, pay for it. I think it's an economic thing to give away for me. I don't want to just give it away I like to, when it's economic, then it's more sustainable. I could keep doing it. Okay, so we looked at Montana and we sorted the counties by the population, highest population counties, and we started looking at the county that had the most population because I think statistically those are going to be the easiest ones to sell, the most people to sell to, and probably the fastest. A good place to start. And so if you put the county that we're talking about, the name of the county in Montana that's got the most population, and then the fifth person to say that, I'm going to give you the 500 mailers. So it looks like you're already getting started. So Jarrett Curley says Yellowstone, that's 1. Stephanie says Yellowstone, that's 2. Dave says Yellowstone, that's 3. Jason Macy says Yellowstone, that's 4. Andrew W says Yellowstone, that's 5. Andrew W, you're the winner. So Andrew W, thank you. Thanks everyone else that's going Yellowstone crazy behind me. We only got 45 people watching, so it should be easy to get in there. So Yellowstone, Andrew W. I think I have your contact information already, Andrew. But if you would, please email Gilian at ruralvacantland.com. Gilian at ruralvacantland.com. You can cut and paste it in here as soon as I post it in there. So you can cut and paste Gilian at ruralvacantland.com. Send her email, say you won the mailers today, 500 mailers, and get your information to her so I can get you paid. It'll take a couple months to go full circle on this because the buys are most likely going to be through title. The sells are most likely going to be through title. There's a dance in between of actually getting them sold. There's a dance between sending out the mail to getting the call back, and there's a dance between me talking right now and actually getting the mail sent out. So there's a bunch of time lapses in there before the deals actually come full circle. But I hope to pretty soon start telling people about the deals coming full circle off of the first mailers that I was starting to give away on here. Okay, thank you everybody. Thanks everyone. I'm going to go to the CPA meeting next and see if I can learn something. And then I'll be back in the office calling people and working on mailers and later this afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you later. And I think there was one question. So we're basically done. I'm just trying to answer a question or two that went by. Ringo Starr says, Luke, I purchased land in Arizona and the HOA that is just there to maintain the roads, but they want me to get an okay for anything I build on my land down to yard art. Is this normal in Arizona? Did you buy that land from me? I don't remember buying an HOA like that in Arizona. So HOAs can be all kinds of rules and regulations wherever they are. The basics of it is we have federal laws, the big stuff that covers everything. Then we've got state laws that cover all that state. And Arizona's got cooler stuff about water collection and things than some other states. So they're pretty open on lots of stuff there. And then you got county laws, and that's like the smaller area around where you're at. And then inside that county, if there's a city set up, you got city laws. And so you might have city laws. So you got to, add all these layers of laws together. And then under that, if you're in the HOA, you got the HOA rules. And so you got a stack of rules to navigate through to do what you're trying to do. But getting down to the answer, is this normal in Arizona? The newer the HOA, the more normal that is. The older the HOA, if they're made in the 70s or 60s or something, the less and less likely that is. So, yeah, it's getting more normal. I hate to say it, but it is. And they're trying to keep the property values high in the area. And sometimes it works really well to do that, and sometimes it doesn't. So hopefully they're doing a good job of keeping the property values high in that area. And they do it over time, even though it's annoying because you art in your lawn. But later on someday, if they keep the place looking crispy clean, it might be easier to sell your property to higher prices down the road. And somebody that likes a clean neighborhood and not eccentric neighborhood with all kinds of different arts and looks going on. But personally, I try to stay out of those kinds of neighborhoods. It's too hard to answer the questions on selling the properties. It's not the same audience that goes after vacant land, in my opinion. Jamericans News Network, Real Chat, Real Talk says, Luke, can you help me buy some land in Texas? Yeah, I mean, I can. I'm pretty busy doing different mailers, but there's probably the best way to do that would be go on ruralvacantland.com and see who's got land for sale in Texas. It's most likely going to be Curtis Eichelhoff, and Curtis does a bunch of really good deals. He keeps putting them up, and recently it's been a lot of El Paso County, Texas, but he's been spreading out to different counties in Texas. You also see some by Justin Sleva's on there. He does a bunch of good Texas deals, and I can't think of who else is selling some Texas properties on the website right now, but it'd probably be faster if you talk to one of them and tell them what you're looking for and see if they do a mailer for the area that you're looking for if they don't have that land already up and for sale. And thank you. I'm going to sign off. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys again next week at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and I'll give away some more mailers. Hopefully I got some updates on previous mailers that we've had out. Thanks. Bye. Hit the wrong button.